Welcome to How to Play Ambient Guitar, Episode 22. Today I'd like to spend a few minutes looking at how to incorporate string bending into your ambient guitar lead playing. So let's get right down to work. First of all, you'll need a lead tone, a distorted lead tone, and I actually did an entire episode on that. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. Here's the tone that I'm using today. It's basically a little bit of a compressor and a Strymon Overdrive. If you don't have the Riverside, you can use whatever distortion pedal you have, and I'm sure you'll get a tone that's somewhat similar. In addition to that, I'm using some reverb. And that's just a hall room type of reverb, and of course some delay. And as you can hear, I've got a good bit of delay going, and that's because for this demo, I'm going to be using the volume pedal for the lead playing that I'm going to do. And that brings me to tip number 1, incorporate string bending with your volume pedal. So, if you think about typical, maybe blues style string bends, okay, that's pretty cool, but if you add in some delay and use a volume pedal with it, I think it gets kind of cooler. All right, so if you use the volume pedal to chop the attack off of your note, string bendings turn into, in my view, kind of like otherworldly sounding whale sounds, if you will, which can be really cool. So there are several different ways you can use string bending with a volume pedal. The first one that you just heard is a bend up in pitch. Okay, and that's pretty typical. If I turn off the delay, here's what it sounds like. Delay on. All right, so that's cool. Tip number 2 is to bend down. And this is a little trickier because before you bring the volume pedal up, you've got to get the string bend in position so you can go down. So what I mean is, let me explain here a little better. Typically in a string bend, you go up and then down, right? All right, in this case, we're going to start in the up position of the pitch and go down. Okay? And that sounds really cool with delay and a volume pedal. And it's kind of nice if you've got a, say, this E here, the B string on the 5th fret. That is a fixed note, right? It's just fretted. So if I play that note, and then the next note is my the same E, but on the 3rd string, bent up, essentially a whole tone or 2 frets worth of pitch, it's kind of cool in terms of the effect. Anyhow, that takes a little bit of practice. I don't, as I play, sometimes I'll record and use it. Sometimes I have to go back and do 2 or 3 takes to get it right, because it can be a little tricky, in particular if you don't if you don't practice that a good bit. But give that a try and see what you think. Tip number 3 is string bending as you bring the volume pedal down to cut off the tone. So let me show you what I mean. First of all, I'm going to play a tone and then quickly cut the tone off with the volume pedal. Without the delay. Okay, now what if I add a bend up as I'm lowering the volume pedal? So what if I, right? So maybe a half step bend, one fret bend. So let's try that out. Turn on the delay. So you hear how the when you bring the volume pedal down quickly, as you're bending, it chops off the bend. That's pretty cool. And then that brings me to my last tip for this video, and you probably heard it. As you're string bending up, you can bend up to the same note on another string that is the fixed pitch. In other words, it's not a bent string, it's just a fixed pitch. So let me show you what I mean with this E string, or this E pitch, or this E note here. Okay, again, this is E, 5th fret on the B string. And I'm going to start on the G string, the 3rd string on the 7th fret. That is a D. Okay, and I'm going to bend up to an E, and then I'm going to very quickly move the volume pedal down and bring it back up and play the E on the 5th fret of the B string. So let's see if I can do that. Kind of cool, huh? And you probably heard the F sharp to the G. And I didn't bring the volume pedal down on that one, which is another cool effect. So what I'm doing there is bending up a half a step, and then I'm letting go of the bend with my 3rd finger as my 4th finger hits the G. All right, those are my tips for string bending. If you work on this technique, if you've not already, kind of played around with it and experimented, I highly encourage you to do so. I find that the judicious use of string bending with volume pedal and ambient guitar leads can add a lot of life and expression into your lead playing. If you haven't already done so, I sure would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel. I've got ambient guitar-related content coming every week. Also, for the pedals that you can get on Amazon, I've got Amazon affiliate links, effects chain description, and all that good stuff in the video description. And finally, if you haven't already done so, please check out Chords of Orion Music. I'll see all of you on the next video.